Well, what does it take to get a straight answer out of the government?
Does the NSA collect any type of data at all on millions or hundreds of millions of Americans?
No, sir.
It does not.
Not wittingly. There are cases where they could inadvertently, perhaps, collect, but not wittingly.
The implication from Wyden's office is that Clapper's statements were not direct and truthful given the disclosures of the NSA programs this week.
He just flat out lied. It's ridiculous. It's an absurd answer. I mean, look, that question that he was asked by Wyden was provided to him a day in advance.
Director Clapper has been straight and direct in the answers that he's given and has actively engaged in an effort to provide more information about the programs that have been revealed through the leak of classified information.
Is it okay for the DNI director to lie to you openly, to the American people? Had it not been for the leaks, no one would have known. He would have gotten away with it.
The president has said, correctly in my view, that strong congressional oversight is absolutely essential in this area. Right. It's not possible for the Congress to do the kind of vigorous oversight that the president spoke about if you can't get straight answer. It's appropriate now to have public hearings. This will give the committee and the American people the opportunity to look at the disclosures that have come out here in the last 10 days or so.
So fair to say that you're not content with the answers he gave you. I know in your statement you said that you gave his office after that hearing a chance to amend it. What did he do?
We sent them the question ahead of time. We indicated to them afterwards there would be an opportunity to amend it, and that's where I'll leave it.
What did they do? Did they respond?
But just in following up, I know
the answer at the hearing was never amended.
Our Obama administration officials lying to Congress. Senator Lindsey Graham joins us. Nice to see you, sir.
Glad to be with you.
All right, let's talk about DNI Clapper's statement, response and answer to Senator Wyden's question. Was he truthful or not?
I think what he's trying to tell us is that we don't monitor your phone calls or the content of your email or your conversations. There is no right of privacy towards your phone number, regarding your phone number, the U.S. Supreme Court in 1979. That's the best I can give you.
All right, the specific question that Senator Wyden asked him is, does the NSA collect any type of data at all on millions or hundreds of millions of Americans? It didn't say anything about phone call, didn't say anything about content, and he said, no, sir. Senator Wyden said it does not, and Senator DNI Clapper said not wittingly. There are cases where they could inadvertently perhaps collect, but not wittingly.
Yeah, we do collect phone numbers. The NSA is collecting phone numbers.
So that was untruthful?
Well, you know, all I can tell you is I don't believe what they're telling us about Benghazi. The IRS makes no sense to me. I think this administration's got a problem because people don't trust them, rightly so. When it comes to this program, I support it because I think it helps us disrupt terrorist plots that are in the making.
That's a different issue. The question
was
is,
he truthful?
Yeah.
Well, you need to call him back and ask him, because we do collect data. We don't collect content, and collecting the data is lawful, and the only way you can get the content to monitor our conversations if a judge issues a warrant allowing the government to do that. So there are checks and balances.
All right, you mentioned Benghazi, and the American people, I assume, really want to have faith and trust in their government.
Yeah.
You've got Benghazi.
You've
got the IRS targeting. You've got
Jim Rosen.
You've got Attorney General Holder asking about potential prosecution media. He said no. And
now you got Clapper.
And you got Clapper. And you know, it's like I don't know how I don't know how you get around what Clapper said. And I was a defense lawyer. I don't know how I'd spin that one to say anything but that he simply didn't tell the truth on it.
Well, all I can tell you is, from my point of view, I want to do two things. I want the government to be honest and accountable, and I want to make sure we disrupt terrorist plots before they mature. This program has checks and balances. No one can listen into your phone calls or mine without a warrant being issued by a federal judge. They have to show the judge that the terrorist that we're following has made a phone call to your number before we can monitor content.
That's an entirely different. That's an entirely different question.
That's the way the program works.
Right. That's an entirely different question than whether the administration that we want to have confidence in is playing it fast and loose.
I totally agree with you. I think the problem we have here is that you got an administration that told a story about Benghazi that did not withstand scrutiny. The president himself blamed the attack on a video in a spontaneous riot that was just really illogical. There was no evidence of anything other than a coordinated terrorist attack. The IRS case, you've got a lady taking the Fifth Amendment saying this was limited to a Cincinnati office when the people in Cincinnati said they got direction from Washington. You got Jim Rosen's situation where the Attorney General said he had no knowledge of a pending or potential criminal investigation of a reporter when he signed documents allowing Jim Rosen to be listed as criminal co-conspirator. Now you got Clapper saying we don't collect any data. All of that makes it really difficult for Lindsey Graham to come on your program and say, when it comes to the NSA program, I understand it, there are checks and balances, I know about it, the courts are involved, we don't have to just rely upon Clapper and the administration.
Okay, if Clapper, and I'm using Clapper as an example, if Clapper under oath makes this statement in response to the senator's answer and you don't trust that, you don't trust that he was being truthful, how in the world can we have the DNI, the highest ranking intelligence officer in our nation, how in the world can we trust when he goes to work every single day?
Well,
this one's under oath.
Yeah, now this is a real problem. I don't trust what the White House is telling us about how the talking points got changed. Who was in that Saturday meeting? What did the president do that night? The IRS, I can give you a list of things you should be suspicious of.
At least though the president, for whether you agree with that, he's elected.
Right.
This is an appointment by the president.
Call him back and say, listen, call Clapper back and say,
I wish I could.
And let's call Holder back. But here's the
I wish I could. You're the one who's in the Senate. I can't.
I wish I could too. But here's the one thing I want to tell the American people. In spite of all this behavior you should really be concerned about, we're under threat from radical Islam. They're trying to attack our homeland. Every day there are plots being formed throughout the world directed at us at home and abroad, and we need to stop them if we can.
I don't think anyone disagrees with two things though.
That's
one,
good.
I think everyone wants to stop terrorism.
Sure.
I want to stop terrorism. But I have a question about whether this program works because we were tipped off by the Russians to Tsarnaev in Boston, and somehow even with a tip-off we couldn't figure that one out. So that's the first question. The second question is in terms of the president saying that they're not listening to the content. I think the mere phone numbers that you call can be very revealing about you. Suppose you make a call to a suicide hotline or an abortion clinic or a tea party. It tells you an awful lot about you without listening to the content. So I think there is a deeper involvement of privacy than just simply a random set of numbers.
Please listen to this, because I'm very involved in helping create this program and having checks and balances. Phone numbers are not attached to a name. The only time that anybody can monitor content is when a known terrorist phone number is connected to a number in the United States. Then you have to get permission from the court to identify the person.
That would be really convincing, but for the fact we got a guy who's 3 months at a government contractor, Booz Allen, and he somehow got access to all this stuff. So I don't believe that. If a 3-month contractor can get part of the confidential information, secret stuff, why shouldn't I think a 4-month contractor doesn't get the phone numbers and tie them into the people? All
I can tell you is that the people who have access to this program are in the dozens, not in the hundreds, and they have a paper trail.
So did this guy who got caught.
All I can tell you is that this guy is not a patriot, in my opinion. He's a potential felon, and you shouldn't believe everything he tells you. But the one thing you should...
Well, he did produce a court order, the FISA court order, that is a sealed secret order.
But these orders are just issued every 90 days to allow the government to data mine.
It shows there's access to secret stuff by rogue people.
All I can tell you is that this is not the first time someone has revealed information about classified programs. And every time this happens, we become weaker. And how much more are we going to tell the terrorists about what we're trying to do to follow them around and stop them from striking the United Nations? I mean, excuse me, the United States.
Or the United Nations, too. I know what you mean. I was teasing you.
Our country.
Of course.
How much are we going to tell the terrorists before we lose our ability to defend our homeland. I don't want your phone calls to be listened to or my phone calls to be listened to unless there's a damn good reason and a federal judge is involved. We don't have to trust the Obama administration or Clapper. You got a federal judge whose job it is to oversee this program, and I think it works well. And I can promise you this, we have stopped terrorist attacks before they were executed because of this program. And if we lose this program, we don't interrogate detainees anymore. We kill them, and the ones we catch, we read them their Miranda rights, like in Boston. We're not collecting human intelligence. If we destroy this technological intelligence program, then we're really in trouble.
Senator, thank you. We have a lot more to talk about. So you now have we'll have another conversation.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
To be continued.
And many Americans